everyone, my name is Jennifer Aswin. If it is your first time here, thank you so much for clicking onto this video. I create content around lifestyle, around everything God, identifying as a child of God, living and existing like you know that fact. That is, we are royals and scripted, a podcast that is here on YouTube and also on Spotify. I am a medical student in Poland, and so today I'll be guiding anyone who is going through the phase of getting into med school, something that I was in a cycle. I was in that cycle for quite some time because I tried to get into different schools before I got to the school that I am in right now in Poland. And so I took different exams, did different applications, and so I'm going to give you the tips and everything and how to go about that. So first of all, as you are going to prepare to get to med school, I am a believer, and so I hope that you are a believer, or even if you are not, make this a prayer point for yourself. Ask God for direction on where He wants you to go to, on what you need to do, how you need to apply, and the equipment that you need, the strength that you need to go through this journey. So make sure that you are praying about it so that you are aligned with what God really wants you to do, to fulfill your purpose. Is med school your thing, and is this a career that you want to pursue long term? Also, as you pray about it, make sure that you are getting ready to receive that answer, because it's not easy on this side through the tireless nights that you go through studying and adjusting to new places. Because if you're looking for to apply to a school, it's maybe in a different country, so you're going to go through language barrier, meeting new people, international students, and new life. So you have to mentally prepare to adjust your life so that everything goes in place. But after all that is said and done, and you decided that you're going to apply to med school, I have some notes here that I'm going to be referring to, which are going to be helpful to you. And if you find this helpful at the end, please make sure to give it a like, subscribe down below to be notified every other time we upload a new video, either the music, the podcast, or any other life related videos that may concern you. And so as you prepare to get to med school, make sure you're checking online different schools, different sites, different universities that offer the medical course that you want, or any other course that you want. Make sure you have a scope of different schools that you're checking out for. So once you've landed to the school that you want to get to, you will get to their website and know the requirements that they need. So these are some of the requirements that I needed when I was applying to med school. First is the language exam. Most schools will require you to have done the TOEFL exam or the IELTS exam. This has been required every other time I applied to a school, just because I was going to take the course in English. So make sure that you've taken that exam either in your country. Look out for TOEFL and IELTS, prepare for it and do it. I took the TOEFL exam, and it's basically asking you, they need to know, can you speak English? Can you hear and understand English? Can you write? So they basically test your listening, writing, and skills for English. I didn't take the IELTS exam, but I'm very sure that in the internet you can always find information about the IELTS exam. There are some schools that will require you to write a motivational letter as you are planning to get to the school. Why do you want to study medicine? Why do you want to study the course that you want to study for? So they will ask you to write a motivational letter. What inspired you, and how do you see this unfold in your future life? Because you are getting into a career that is going to be so demanding of your life on your future also. So how do you see this unfold in future years to come? Another requirement was high school certificates. Make sure that you have them in place. Or if you've been to a college before, after high school and went to a college and you want to pursue this degree, make sure you also have them in place, legalized, stamped, and ready to be used for your application. I mentioned college because in one of the schools that I applied for, I was not able to take the entrance exam because of my grades in chemistry in high school. But because I had been to nursing school before, then they asked me to provide the grades that I got in my nursing school, which gave me an upper hand, and I was able to take the exam. So that could give you a plus as you apply. And then there are some schools that will ask you to legalize all your documents. I think legalization of documents is generally every other school, but there are some that would require a specific stamp, maybe from the foreign affairs in your country, to stamp all your high school certificates and all the other certificates. Make sure you are also doing that. All this is just to tell you that you have a long way to go. And so as you plan to prepare for before the entrance exams, make sure you're doing this early, at least after immediately after high school. That is, if you know the field or the career that you actually want to pursue. Don't be in a hurry to do that. Take your time, because this is your life you're talking about, and you only have one chance to live. So make sure you're making the right decisions. There are schools like one that I applied to in Germany that will require you to have a blocked account. A blocked account is an account where you deposit a certain amount of money that you're going to use while you are in that country. Just a simple way to tell you, don't come to our country and be begging, be desperate, be poor. Just make sure that you have a certain amount. And so it's a huge amount of money. For example, the school I applied to in Germany, they ask for 12,000 euros. That's a lot of money. That's them making sure that you have a secured future. You'll have food, accommodation, and all. And just as I mentioned, accommodation, make sure that you also check on where you're going to stay as you're going to go to that university. Is it close to school? Are you around people of your same age? Is it a place that you can move around with public transport? Is it cheap? Because you're going to be paying rent every other month. So make sure that you also check out for that and find something that works for you. There are some schools that would ask for a bank statement also, the same as the blocked account. They would ask for a bank statement or a blocked account, but just to see, if you can take good care of yourself and take care of your livelihood in your new school. And so once you have done the whole application, there is definitely going to be an application fee. And so you need to have your finances in order for that. Also, you will then get an acceptance letter once the examination is done. And so we're going to get into the examination. But for for you to apply for a visa, that is if you're in a country that requires a visa to get to the school that you will have applied for, just make sure that you have your acceptance letter from the school, and then you'll be applying for your visa using your acceptance letter, because for you to get the visa, there needs to be a yes from your school that you are expected in the school, and that would make the visa process easier. It may not make it as easy as easy sounds, but it is a requirement for you to get your visa. I may not be the best person to ask questions about visa processing, but I know there are other sources that will give you the information that you require to make this process easier. And so we get to the examination. This is very different from every other school, but because I took several examinations, here is what I know about the examination. So there are some schools that will provide you past papers or past questions that have been done by other students, and so you will have a clue of what the examination would look like. There are some that will just give you topics to study on, and then you have to go through the topics by yourself, study, and then sit for the examination. There are some schools that are going to require that will tell you that the examination would be an oral exam, and so you should be ready, with your devices, so that your camera is on and you're confident, and you look clean and put together and ready to answer the questions that you are going to be asked. And so even for the oral exams, you'll be told the questions that are going to be asked, or the topics that are going to be covered, so that you prepare for the same. And so for some schools, there were technical trials. They tell you prepare your devices a day before or an hour before, or at this time a link would be sent, so that you do a whole preparation and try, so that on the day of the examination nothing fails. And so during the exam, in most of the exams that I did, they let you know that the exam is going to be recorded on camera, like you're going to be monitored, just to make sure that there is no cheating or leakage or anything like that. So you're going to be monitored, and so make sure that when they give you the topics or the past questions, you go through them properly, so that you are confident and you don't need to do any fishy stuff, so that you get to pass the examination. There are some schools that will allow you to pick the subjects that you want to be tested on. They will tell you either, biology, chemistry, mathematics, pick two, or physics, pick three or something. And some will tell you, we are going to test you on maths and biology, or chemistry and biology. And so you have to prepare for the same. For example, there's an exam I took that had 100 questions, 60 questions biology, 40 questions chemistry. So you have to know the school that you're applying to, what they require of you, and how you are going to pass the examinations. Now, I took the multiple choice questions, and I also took the oral examination. For the oral examination, you are asked about first questions. So, why do you want to become a doctor? What are your strengths and your weaknesses as a person? Another question, because COVID was a very global thing, I was asked about COVID several times. Like, for example, do you think people have learned their lesson from COVID, or what do you think the healthcare system has learned from the incidents of COVID, or what are the signs and symptoms of COVID? Anything around the COVID, so maybe you can still look through that and have a clue on the same. Another question that I remember was asked was, you desiring to be a doctor, what do you think is the relation between a doctor and other healthcare providers? Do you think doctors are better than nurses, or better than pharmacists, or better than lab technicians? So they just want to know if you understand the relation and the collaboration that is required in the healthcare system to make everything flow, because the goal is one, to see our patients get better and to better the healthcare system. And another tricky question that I was once asked was, in case there is miscommunication in the school and maybe the needs of the students are not being met, you are a student leader and y'all are planning to have a strike, what would you do as a student leader? What they are testing there is just, do you understand that communication needs to be had, and your skills or your characters as a leader, how do they come up at that? I remember my response being, we are going to have a conversation with, our seniors and the lecturers and the doctors around, so that we come to an agreement. But my examiner insisted and said, what if they are still not complying? What if they still insist that whatever the students are asking for is not going to be met? I also insisted that we are still going to communicate, so that you don't also give in and be like, the strike can proceed, or we can, you have to, they are just trying to test on your characters. And so you have to be keen about that. Another question that came up on all the oral exams that I ever did was the thing about autonomy. A patient refuses blood transfusion and they know so well that that is the only thing that is going to save their lives. What do you do as a doctor? Do you force them? What do you do then? Then the attribute of a doctor of being a teacher or advocating for health, you definitely are going to allow them, because autonomy is also something that you have to uphold. If I'm saying autonomy and you don't understand, it is you allowing the patient to make a choice of their own, and they're allowed because it is their body and you are the healthcare provider. And so if they insist on that, the answer to that is definitely you need to tell them the harm of the decision that they are making, but also allowing them to make the choice. But make sure you let them know the harm of the decision that they are making. And also, because AI is quickly coming up in almost all the fields, another question that I was repetitively always asked is, how is tech now used in med school, or how is tech developing in med school, and all that. It is definitely very useful in different perspectives. Make sure you know that, because maybe they would ask for examples here and there. And then one tricky question on the same is, do you think IT would ever replace doctors? Personally, I don't think it will, because we are compassionate. Tech, IT or AI is not. We are humans, they are not. And so I don't think they would ever do that. So this is just a scope of the questions that they would ask you, that you definitely just need to be woke and open-minded on how you are answering these questions, and to convince them that you are the best candidates for this. And as much as you convince them you're the best candidates for this, when you get to the field, now that I've been in the field for a short while, I would say, you would then learn on how to, balance yourself, learn these skills even better, and put these skills in practice, because it doesn't matter how better you say it. It matters how you do it. When you're in the field and you're now hands-on and you need to do stuff, then that matters the most. But through it all, I pray that you get the sources best to, to go through this and be successful at the end of it all. Finally, I would say that there are also some questions, some oral examinations that are subject based. So not just the subjects that, you do multiple questions. There are oral exams that are on chemistry, oral exams on mathematics. Like for the school that I'm in right now, my oral exam was on biology and mathematics. So you would wonder, how is mathematics an oral exam? They would, read out the question for you, give you time to calculate your calculations, and then you give an answer. Like I remember one of the questions for mathematics was something on velocity. So they tell you that, you do your calculations, you give the answer. For biology, I think they asked me something, the difference between pulse rate and heart rate and all, and then you give the answer orally. So make sure that you know the school, what is required of you, and how you're going to go about it. And everything is going to work for your good, because you are God's child. I wish you well as you proceed to your desired medical school, and that everything is going to work for your good, just as I had said. If you found this helpful, please don't forget to give this a like, to subscribe to my channel, listen to good music on this channel also, and grow your faith on the section of the podcasting. We are Royals Unscripted, and with that, I hope to see you on the next one. Bye.